बराबर सुनाई दे रहा है सबका।
Mataji,
मेरा
last week Isha had asked the doubts of 5th chapter, which she has to
Okay, okay.
present it.
Okay.
So even I had not attended.
Okay,
But
fine,
then,
fine.
yeah.
ठीक है, because I just want to know अगर कुछ किया है.
No, chapter 7 is not done by her.
Okay, fine. तो हमने पहले किया था, we did it in the long time back था, वो 7th chapter का, we did the acronym. किसी को याद है?
नहीं।
Yeah,
now I am
okay.
here.
Okay, it is head. So the chapter division is head.
Hare Krishna.
H-E-A-D. Hare Krishna, Isha Mataji. Head, H is
I
for
can't hear.
hearing. Now only I think you then log out and log in. Sujata Mataji, you can hear properly now?
Yeah, now I can hear. See, if you disconnect to make a call, then you don't get the sound again. You have to log out and
You
log
have
in.
to log out and log in. Okay. So the division of this chapter is head. H is for hearing. Sloka number 1 to 3.
So we are starting with chapter 7.
Yeah, chapter 7, we did one sloka already, but I think most of you can't recollect. So we will go from the beginning only if that is the case. So E is everywhere. Sloka number 4 to 12. And A is accept or reject. Sloka number 13 to 19. And D, the last division of the chapter, deals with demigod worship. 20 to 30. So Krishna talks about which kind of people with what nature they approach the demigod and how is their intelligence. Demigods.
Demigods or?
Yeah, that's all. 20 to 30, na?
Demigod
Only
worship.
30 slokas. Demigod worship, yeah.
22 sloka. 22, 30.
20 to 30, yeah.
20.
20 to 30. Okay. The first 3 slokas, Krishna is specifically talking about hearing the subject matter about himself. How important it is for us to hear about Krishna. And then the next sloka, number 4 to 12, Krishna is talking about his energies. He's talking about his material energies, how he is present everywhere, and where are his vibhutis, or like he's a taste of water, he's aroma, everything is him. So he's talking about how he's present everywhere, and or in short, how can we see Krishna everywhere in all the energies? How can we see him? And then sloka number 13 to 19, he speaks about the class of people who accept Krishna and those who reject him. So there are 4 classes of people who reject Krishna. Anybody could remember that sloka? Namam dushkritino muda, prapadyante naradama, maya jnana, asuram devamasuram. So namam dushkritino muda, the mudas, the fools and the rascals. So there are 4 classes of people who reject Krishna. Whatever we try, they cannot accept Krishna. And there are 4 classes of people who accept Krishna. And they may not be pure devotees, but they just start accepting Krishna. Can you remember that sloka?
Yes, Mataji. Chaturvidya
bhajante mam jana sukritinorjana artha jignasirartati jnani cha bharatarshava. So people who wanted money, people who have some kind of difficulty and they want to get rid of that difficulty, and people who are inquisitive, and people who want to develop knowledge. So those are the people who approach Krishna. They may have some kind of expectation from Krishna, but at least they accept Krishna and slowly they become devotee with the knowledge. And then the demigod worship, Krishna particularly talks about those people who go to the demigod worship because they have their desire, kama is sasya krita jnana. They have their desires to be fulfilled, so they go to the demigods. And Krishna said, Alpa Medasha. What kind of intelligence they have? Alpa means very lower intelligence, very, very low intelligence. So people with very low intelligence are the one who goes to the demigods. Okay, I will just share the Veda base. One second.
मुझे तीर और भगवद गीता की तो वर्ड बोलती हूँ।
So is it clear? The divisions of the chapter is clear? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll go to the first sloka. Please repeat after me. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
श्री भगवान उवाच
Maya Sakta Mana Partha
मय्या
महापात्र
Yogam Yunjan Madashraya
योगम युञ्जन् मद आश्रयः
Asamshayam Samagram Mam
असंशयं समग्रं मां
Yata Nasyasi Tashrunu.
यथा ज्ञास्यसि तत् शृणु.
Okay, आपको मीनिंग्स और ट्रांसलेशन पढ़ना है अनु?
इंग्लिश वाला पढ़ना है? यस.
या इंग्लिश.
श्री श्री भगवान वाच द सुप्रीम लॉर्ड सेड मई टू मी आसक्त मनः माइंड अटैच्ड पार्थ ओ सन ऑफ पृथा योगम सेल्फ रियलाइजेशन युंजन प्रैक्टिसिंग मत आश्रय इन कॉन्शियसनेस ऑफ मी ही असंशयम विदाउट डाउट समग्रम completely माम मी यतः हाउ ज्ञास्यसि you can know tat that shrunu try to hear. The supreme personality of Godhead said, now hear, O son of Pritha, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me with mind attached to me you can know me in full free from doubt.
Okay,
Hare
you can stop this. Purport बाद में पढ़ेंगे. So the middle 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita is particularly dealing with Bhakti Yoga. The first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita is dealing with
Karma Yoga.
Karma Yoga, and the last 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita is dealing with Gyan Yoga. So Krishna starts with the chapter saying that you can know me in full, free from doubt. So how can we know Krishna in fullness? So is it actually possible to know Krishna in fullness?
No.
It is not possible to know Krishna in fullness. So that doesn't mean that just by reading the 7th chapter to 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, our Gita is done and we don't have to read the first 6 chapters or last 6 chapters, and we don't have to read the other scriptures like Bhagavatam or Nectar of Devotion, Nectar of Instruction, Chaitanya Charitamrita. There are so many literatures we have. But here what Krishna is trying to tell is he is talking about the essential knowledge, at least some knowledge that we should know completely. Especially he is talking about the 2 types of energy. What are the 2 types of energy Krishna has? Material and spiritual
Internal
energy. Internal and external energy, or
External.
material and spiritual energy.
Spiritual.
So who is the controller of both?
Krishna Swam.
Krishna is the controller of the both. So both the material energy and the spiritual energy, external and internal energy, both comes from Krishna only. So this is a basic knowledge that one has to know. And as we said in this, I'm not going very deep in this purport because we already did it. We saw in the purport the 4 kind of people who are attached to Krishna and the 4 unfortunate people who can never take to Krishna, which we have also seen, right? There are some people who cannot take to Krishna consciousness. How many times we talk to them, it is difficult for them. Why it is difficult? Because they belong to the class of Dushkrutina. They belong to the class of miscreants, Muda, an ass. So an ass can get the grass anywhere, but still the ass works very hard day and night so that it gets the grass from the master. But is it difficult for the ass to get the grass? Just for that grass. And the ass is thinking that the master is so noble, that the master is giving me food to eat, but that food is available everywhere. So there are some class of people who are like ass, whose mentality is like that of a donkey. They just think that they need to work and they need to they keep their life so busy and they don't even think that there is a need for them to understand anything beyond this work life or whatever the life that they have. And we have Mayaya Pakrita Jnana. Who are those people? Whose knowledge is stolen by illusion. And who are the example for that?
हिरण्यकशिपु.
No, illusion. आजकल के time पे you can understand scientist.
Okay.
Their knowledge is stolen by illusion. ना? अगर वो लोग बिग बैंग थियरी दे रहे हैं तो is it even a right theory? That something has exploded और वो explosion से पूरा ब्रह्मांड शुरू हुआ. Is it even this thing? And that also they say that it comes from zero volume. So is it even possible that way? No. So it is because they just wanted to give some reason for the existence, but their knowledge is stolen by illusion. And lowest of mankind, like we saw in the previous chapters also when we discussed, there are 84 lakhs of species. And among the human species, how many species are there in the human beings?
5 lakhs.
4 lakhs.
4 lakhs.
4 lakhs. 84 लाख योनियों में 4 लाख का मनुष्य योनि है. So who are these 4 lakh people? How are they 4 lakh species of human? We are all taught to say that we should treat all the human beings same, everybody is one. But where does discrimination of 4 lakh species came? Is this based on?
Nature.
Based consciousness. Uncivilized. There are uncivilized and civilized people. People with a lower consciousness and people with a developed consciousness. So the lowest of the mankind, even they cannot take up into Krishna consciousness. And atheist, they can also not take into Krishna consciousness. So, and here particularly, Prabhupada has spoken about how do we understand the absolute truth? What are the 3 stages of realization of the absolute truth? Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti, Sabhyati. So the transcendentalists try to realize the absolute truth in 3 stages. The first stage is impersonal Brahma Jyoti. But is it even a complete realization?
No, partially realization.
Partial realization. Oh, Sat Chit Ananda, there are 3 knowledge, Sat, eternity, Chit, knowledge, and Ananda, bliss. So of the 3 parts, which part they understand? Sat, Chit, and Ananda. They only can understand the Sat part. Okay. They cannot understand the other part, eternity part. They only know the part of eternity. Sat means eternity. Chit means knowledge. And Ananda means bliss.
Bliss.
So they can only understand the Sat part of the God. And then the next transcendentalist, they go one step higher and they can understand the absolute truth is also there in the form of Paramatma, in the localized form, and they understand Sat and Chit form. But even that realization is not complete. But those transcendentalists who understand Krishna as Bhagavan, as an absolute truth, as a personality of Godhead, they are the one who can experience all the 3 aspects, Sat, Chit, and Ananda, bliss. Only a devotee can experience the bliss. A jnani or a yogi cannot experience the bliss. A yogi, an Ashtanga yogi, even though the process is very, very tedious, even if he tries to meditate for millions and millions of years or many lifetimes, he can only see the tip of the toenail of the Lord. He cannot see anything beyond that. But what about the Bhakti yogi? What can he do? He can see Krishna face to face, and he can exchange relation with Krishna. Krishna exchanges relation in 5 different forms. What are the 5 forms? As Madhurya Rasa with the gopis, Sakya Rasa with gopas, Vatsalya Rasa,
Yashoda Mata,
Yashoda Maya, Nanda Maharaj. Or then we also have another
वीर रस.
Dasya rasa. Veera rasa is not in this. Veera rasa bhi hai, but that is not the primary five rasa. Dasya rasa as a servant, and the Shanta rasa neutral, like the Yamuna waters, like the trees, the grass, they are all in the Shanta rasa. So these are the 5 ways in which they can experience the bliss. Which one?
दास्य रस के एग्जांपल्स.
दास्य रस, servants of Krishna. बहुत लोग सेवा करते हैं ना भगवान
Okay.
का, सेवक
Okay.
के रूप में भगवान का सेवा करते हैं. So हम, और another important thing, how do you hear about Krishna? जैसे अगर हमको material knowledge प्राप्त करना है तो we can get it through material intelligence, but if we want to get spiritual knowledge, how do we get it?
गुरु शास्त्र.
Guru, Sadhu or Shastra, and mainly it is given, bestowed by the blessings of Krishna himself. So how much one can observe the spiritual knowledge, it is not just by one's own intelligence, it is by the mercy of Krishna and his pure devotees like Guru or the more advanced devotees. Because of their blessings, we can understand the spiritual knowledge. Like the birds, there are different birds which we see they fly in the sky. Does all the bird fly in the same height?
No.
We can see such peacocks, for example, they can only fly up to certain height, maybe 10 feet or 20 feet. And we see crow can fly further high, sparrow can fly even higher, eagle can fly more than that, and vulture can fly even more than that, and jatayu and the Sampak, they all could fly even higher. So each bird can fly according to its own capacity.
Yes.
So similarly, as a devotees, each one can understand Krishna only to that capacity in which they can. We cannot expect that every devotee understand Krishna incomplete. One can understand Krishna to the extent that they can understand. But that doesn't mean that Krishna is partial on others. But understanding is that, but one can serve Krishna with full capacity. Whatever you can do, everybody has some talent which we can use in Krishna's service. Isn't it? Okay. And Srimad Bhagavatam particularly speaks about the glories of hearing the Krishna's pastime. Srinvata hi svata Krishna punya shravana kirtana hridayantasto hridaya bhadrani vidunoti suhrtatsavam. Srinvata hi svata Krishna. By hearing about the Krishna's pastime, punya shravana kirtana hridayanto hridaya bhadrani vidunoti suhrtatsavam. What happens when you hear to Krishna Katha? What is happening to your heart? Your heart gets cleansed. Because just by hearing Krishna Katha, our hearts get automatically cleansed. Otherwise, this cleansing process of our heart is very, very difficult. One cannot come out of our anarthas very easily. But just by hearing Krishna Katha, all the misgivings in our heart, what all some of the misgivings we have, what are the things that are bothering our heart? Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moda, Mada, Matsarya. So we can come out of all such kind of the misgivings and we can get cleansed. Nashta prayeshva abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki nashta prayeshva abhadreshu. So nityam bhagavata sevaya. How we should hear to Bhagavatam?
Nityam, daily.
Nityam. Every day we should hear to Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki. With devotion, one has to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Tatarajastamas bhava kama lobha dayasyate chetayeter anavittam stitam sattve prasistati. So these are all the slokas which mainly talks about glorifying the process of hearing Krishna's pastimes. How important is for us to hear Krishna's pastimes. Otherwise, this material knot is very, very tight. If the knot is very tight, is it easy for us to remove the knot?
No.
कभी कभी हमारे ड्रेस में भी हो जाता है ना, the knot becomes too tight, so then it takes much longer for us to remove those knots. So similarly, the material existence is tying us very, 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 very hard knot. And by adapting the process of Bhakti Yoga, by hearing the pastures of the Krishna, these knot can become automatically untied. Okay. आप ये last paragraph पढ़ेंगे अनुराधा, to hear about Krishna?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah.
To hear about Krishna from Vedic literature or to hear from him directly through the Bhagavad Gita is itself righteous activity. And 4. One who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's heart, acts as a best wishing friend and purifies the devotee who constantly engage in hearing of him. In this way, a devotee naturally develops his dormant transcendental knowledge.
So one
And
second, I'd like to stop here. So what happens when we hear to Krishna Katha? It is why it is called as dormant transcendental knowledge. Because as a spirit soul, we all have the relation with Krishna. Mamaivamshu jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. Manashishtani indriyani prakritistani karshati. So this relationship with Krishna is an eternal relation which each and every living entity is having. But by hearing Krishna Katha, what happens to us? This knowledge gets revealed. That knowledge which is dormant, it gets revealed. Dormant means in a sleeping state, and it gets revealed. Yes,
Yes.
Mataji, continue.
As he hears more about Krishna from the Bhagavatam and from the devotees, he becomes fixed in the devotional service of the Lord. By development of devotional service, one becomes freed from the modes of passion and ignorance, and thus material lust and aversion
Avarice or diminish.
are
So here
diminished.
Prabhupada said, how should we hear Srimad Bhagavatam? From whom we should hear? That is also very important. We have to hear Bhagavatam from the devotees of Krishna who are coming in parampara. We cannot hear Bhagavatam from anyone and everyone. There are, in Kali Yuga, there are so many bogus gurus who just call themselves to be the gurus. They say that they got the enlightenment, God revealed to them this. You pray whatever God you want, you do whatever you want, and you get. However, by hearing to Bhagavatam from such people, do we get purified?
No.
We do not get purified. Maybe our senses may be tickled. We may feel nice. We may feel good, because as we are all here, because we all want to be the enjoyers. The main reason why we are born in this material world is because we all want to enjoy. And that enjoyment starts with what? Enjoying the senses. Right? And above the senses, what is there? Who is the boss of sense?
Bhagwan Krishna.
No, you did in the 3rd chapter. Senses के ऊपर क्या है? Mind है. Above the mind, who is the boss of the mind? Intelligence. Intelligence. Yeah, man is mind. Above the mind is intelligence, and above the intelligence is the soul itself.
Yes, yes.
The other 3 things we cannot see. We cannot see the soul, we cannot see the intelligence, we cannot see the mind. But senses is the only one that we can see. So everything that we are trying to enjoy in this world is through what?
Senses.
Through our senses. So कभी कभी हम इधर उधर जाते हैं, वो लोग अच्छी बात करते हैं. It is titillating our senses. It just makes us feel good. But did it help you to cleanse your heart? Did it help you to become a devotee of Krishna? Did it help you to advance in your Krishna consciousness? Did it help you to hear more about Krishna? Did it help you to detach yourself from the material world? So these are the things that we should always ask. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, Mataji, continue. Yeah.
When these impurities are wiped away, the candidate remains steady in his position of pure goodness, becomes enlivened by devotional service, and understands the signs of God perfectly. Thus, Bhakti Yoga severs the hard knot of material affection and enables one to come at once to the stage of
Asamshayam samagram.
Samagram, understanding of the supreme absolute truth personality of Godhead. Bhagavatam 1.2.1721. Therefore, only by hearing from Krishna or from his devotees in Krishna consciousness can one understand the signs of Krishna.
So
Hare Krishna.
as I already said, material knowledge we can understand by our material intelligence. But when it comes to the spiritual knowledge, the only way to understand the spiritual knowledge is through the mercy of his devotees of Krishna. So we have gurus here and we have many advanced devotees here. So that is the why we need to hear Bhagavatam from the advanced devotees, so that that hard knot which we spoke about of material affection, bahut bandit hai, isn't it? Till the last second of the breath that we have, are we not overwhelmed by the affection of the people around us? So what does this bhakti yoga does? It severs the hard knot of material affection and makes you to understand your real position. So what is our real position?
Krishna.
Jivera Swarupa Hoy, Krishnera Nityadas. Our real position is we are the eternal servants of Krishna. So this sloka very beautifully talks about how important is for us to hear the Krishna Katha. By hearing the Krishna Katha, two things can happen. One thing is we get the knowledge. Another thing is we also get detachment. Otherwise, detachment is very difficult. For example, if you're thinking that, okay, for 1 month, I don't want to eat the sweet. You may control yourself for 1 month. The very next day, what will you do?
First में sweet खाएंगे.
शायद एक बॉक्स का रसगुल्ला खत्म करेंगे, है ना? We try to fulfill our desires because that is only going superficially. So whatever detachment we are trying to get it by on our own, it is not a complete detachment. But that detachment, which when we are hearing to Krishna, when we are adopting the process of devotional service, the two things easily happen. One is we get the costless knowledge about the Lord. Another thing is the detachment from the material world happens. So unless otherwise we get detached from this world, then how can we get attached to Krishna? नहीं तो वो tug of war जैसा हो जाएगा ना. Krishna is trying to pull us that side and the material world is trying to pull us this side. Isn't it? और normally we the living entity, हमारे लिए हमारा affection बहुत ज्यादा है. Right? So therefore we should try to sever the attachment with this world and get attached to Krishna, get detached from the world and get attached to Krishna. Okay, can we go to the next sloka?
Yes.
Please repeat after me. Jnanam teham savijnanam
ज्ञानं तेहं सविज्ञानम्
idam vakshashma sheshata
इदं विद्यामय शेषतः
jnatva neha bhuyonyat
यज्ञात्वा नित्यभूयो न ज्ञानं
jnatva yam abhishishyate. और एक बार पढ़ेंगे इस श्लोक का. ज्ञानम तेहम सविज्ञानम
ज्ञानं तेहं सविज्ञानम्
इदं वक्ष्यास्म शेषत यज्ञात्वा नेह भूयोऽन्यत् ज्ञात्वा यम् अविशिष्यते. Isha Mataji or Sujata Mataji, would you like to do the word to word and translation?
Yes, Mataji, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Jnanam, phenomenal knowledge. Te, unto you. Aham, I. Sa, with. Vijnanam, numinous knowledge. Idam, this. Vakshami, shall explain. Asheshataha, in full. Yat, which. Gyatva, knowing. Na, not. Iha, in this world. Bhuyaha, further. Anyat, anything more. Gyatavyam, knowable. Avasishyate, remains. I shall now declare unto you in full knowledge, this knowledge, both phenomenal and numinous. This being known, nothing further shall remain for you to know.
Okay, so I'll just explain you this. Okay, Prabhupada has used little bit of very fancy words like luminous and everything. So jnanam means the knowledge. And what knowledge is? Jnanam means the two types of knowledge, the material knowledge and the spiritual knowledge. And knowing that who is the controller of the both the material energy and the spiritual energy are coming from Krishna only, and he is the controller of both. So we can remember this with a code word called MSC. M means material, S means spiritual, C is controller. So Krishna is the controller of both material and the spiritual energy. So that is the jnana, knowing about the matter and what is matter and what is the spirit. Especially in the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, we learned quite a lot about the difference between the matter and the spirit. In the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Isha Mataji did know second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Yes, Mataji?
Yes.
Yeah. You remember you spoke much about the matter and the spirit?
Yes.
Especially the sloka 11 to 30 was speaking about the spirit,
Yeah.
about the characteristic
Soul.
of the soul and the spirit. So, and then what is Vijnanam? Vijnanam means a deeper knowledge, or probably that knowledge which is being revealed. So we are all getting knowledge. We are all reading Bhagavad Gita. We are all reading Bhagavatam. We are all reading the knowledge. But after we are reading, taking up the knowledge, how much knowledge it is revealed to us, that is Vijnana, or the practical knowledge. Practical. So suppose in the science, we know that we do both the theory and the practicals. In the theory, we learn about the phenomenon, how such and such thing happen. And in practicals, what do?
We apply the knowledge.
We apply that and we see that how does it work, right? So in theory, we understand. So knowledge is something that we are getting is, and Vijnanam is the deeper knowledge or the revelation, what Krishna is giving to us. That is called Vijnanam. Okay, so jnanam teham sa vijnanam idam vashyashma sheshata yajnatva neha bhuyo yat. What did Krishna say? By knowing this, you don't need to know anything else. So as we already discussed, it doesn't mean literally that, just by knowing about this, you don't have to read anything. But at least one should know the essence of what is the matter and what is the spirit. So Vijnana means the knowledge of Krishna's personality, his sweetness, and his realization. So like many people have the concept of God. They may not be Krishna conscious, but they know that there is God and there is a soul and there is matter. But how many people can understand who is the Supreme Lord? How many people can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead? How many people know that he has his own abode, he has his name, he has his form, he has his pastimes? How many people know that?
Few.
Few people know that. So that is Vijnanam. Vijnanam is about knowing the sweetness of the Lord, knowing about his name, form, qualities, and also about the realization. So, like Krishna also said in Bhagavad Gita, Ye yathamam prapadyante tam sataiva bhajamyaham. To the extent you surrender to me, to that extent I reciprocate myself. So, even in this process of absorption of knowledge, to the extent how we are obedient to Krishna, how we are obedient to the Guru, how surrendered we are, to that level, this knowledge will be revealed to us. But one should not get disheartened that I am only knowing this much, I cannot understand this much. It's okay. Everybody can understand the knowledge as per their own capacity. Like each bird can fly in the sky to its own capacity. However, by the process of service to Krishna, there is no limitations to serve Krishna. Everybody can serve Krishna to their fullest capacity. So by serving Krishna, and Prabhupada has once told in his lecture, just try to understand Krishna. He did not even say you have to understand Krishna. Just trying to understand Krishna, one gets liberated. So at least we should try to understand Krishna. And what is the process of understanding Krishna? Through whom we should understand?
Guru.
Through the pure devotees of Krishna.
What-
And what should be our, how we should approach? With humility, with submissiveness, not as a challenging attitude. We have to approach the Guru. Tatviti pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadeshanti tenyana jnanina tattvadarshina. So we have to approach the Guru with the humility and with the mentality to serve him. And what he can do himself, Jnanina Tattvadarshina, he is a Tattvadarshi, he has seen the truth. So that person who has seen the truth, that devotee who has seen the truth, they can reveal the truth to us. And by that way, we can also understand Krishna. Purport? Sujata Mataji, can you read the purport?
Complete knowledge includes knowledge of the phenomenal world, the spirit behind it, and the source of both of them. This is transcendental knowledge. The Lord wants to explain the above mentioned system of knowledge because Arjuna is Krishna's confidential devotee and friend.
So
In the
why
beginning of
was, one second, why was Arjuna chosen to give this knowledge?
Because he's friend of Lord
The
Krishna.
devotee. Bhaktosi me sakacheti. So this is a qualification. To receive the knowledge of Krishna, we should also become his devotee. Bhaktyamam abhijanati. So once we become the devotee of Krishna, then this knowledge becomes accessible to us. Yes, Mataji, continue.
In the beginning of the fourth chapter, this explanation was given by the Lord, and it is again confirmed here. Complete knowledge can be achieved only by the devotee of the Lord in disciplic succession directly from the Lord. Therefore, one should be intelligent enough to know the source of all knowledge, who is the cause of all causes, and the only object for meditation in all types of yoga practice. When the cause of all causes becomes known, then everything knowable becomes known and nothing remains unknown. The Vedas, Mukanda Upanishad 1.3,
Mundaka Upanishad. It is Mundaka Upanishad.
Upanishad 1.3 say, Kasmin you
Bhagavato Vijnate Sarvam Idam Vijnatam Bhavanti. So in Brahma Samhita, what is the first sloka? Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadi Radhir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. So one should know that who is the cause of all the causes. So many people, they say it is very difficult to understand the absolute truth. There is one Rishi, he gave an example that if you put a salt doll in the ocean, what will happen to the salt doll?
melt.
It will melt. So the example is good, but it is not applied in a right way. So what he says is, knowing the absolute truth is like the salt doll. The one who tries to find it, he will get merged. So there's no way to know the absolute truth. But Krishna has said that he is the absolute truth. हम सर्वस्य प्रभवो मत्त सर्व प्रवर्तते इति मत्वा भजन्ते मां बुधा भाव समान्विता. He has given himself to be the absolute truth. And Brahmaji has said, Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadi Radhir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. And the very first sloka of Srimad Bhagavatam also says that Krishna is the absolute truth. The very first sloka, Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikavaye. So he is the one who imparted this knowledge in the heart of Brahma. So everybody has said, Krishna has himself said through the Vedas, through the Shastras, that he is the absolute truth. But we cannot accept that he is an absolute truth, and we cannot accept that he is the God. Then whose fault is it? Those people who are trying to search the absolute truth. Is it a right way to search the absolute truth?
No.
Whereas the absolute truth is already given by the Lord himself through the Shastras. So we just have to go through the Parampara system, the disciplinic succession, like the Brahma Mahadava Gaudiya Sampradaya. So how did this knowledge descended from? We have seen the first page of Bhagavad Gita. From Krishna, it is imparted to Brahma. Tene Brahma Hridaye Adikavaye. From Brahma, it came to Brahma imparted this knowledge to whom?
Naradji.
Naradji. From Narad, it came to Vedavyas.
Yes.
From Vedavyas, it went to Madhvacharya. So from Madhvacharya, all through the disciplinic succession, the same knowledge we are getting through Srila Prabhupada. So that is why it is very, very important for us to receive the knowledge through the parampara system, so that the knowledge that we get is very pure and it is coming through the pure devotee, and that can change our hearts. So many of us have read Bhagavad Gita before reading Bhagavad Gita as it is, little bit here and there. But did anything change in your heart by reading that? Were you able to understand anything? Nobody read Bhagavad Gita before this?
No, I'm sorry. I didn't get your question.
No, we have all read Bhagavad Gita before reading Bhagavad Gita as it is or before taking up the class. But when we read that, did it have any impact on it? Did it change our heart? Did it have any impact on us? If we have read,
No.
I don't know. If anybody has read, I don't know.
जी
When?
माता जी,
Shlokas, not the full.
Before.
I didn't read before.
Yeah,
Before.
पढ़ा ही नहीं, ठीक है. I have tried. I know some commentary of Bhagavad Gita. I do not know what it is, but I did not understand a single word of it. It was very, very difficult for me to understand Bhagavad Gita. But when we read Srila Prabhupada Bhagavad Gita as it is here, because everything is given in terms of the absolute knowledge, knowing that Krishna is a person and how do we approach Krishna. Even in the preface, Krishna has said that the center point of Bhagavad Gita is to serve the senses of Krishna, not serving our own senses. By Sarvapadi Vinirmuktam Tatparatvena Nirmala Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchate. So by serving the senses of Krishna, our senses gets automatically purified. So this is a way to obtain the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita through the disciplinic succession, and as a devotee of Krishna and accepting Krishna as a supreme personality of Godhead and hearing obediently through the Guru. So by following this process, and what other process we follow in absorption in the Bhakti Yoga process? Sevonmukho hi jigvaho. Ata Sri Krishna Namadi na bhavet grahya indira. Our senses are so blunt. It is very difficult for us to understand Krishna by our blunt senses. Our senses are not very strong. So what is the way to understand Krishna is Sevonmukho hi jigvaho, by rendering service to Krishna. And how do we start the service? Through the tongue.
Yes.
By the tongue, we chant the holy names of Krishna, and by tongue, we chant and we accept the Krishna Prasadam. So by doing so, by through the service of Krishna, one can try to understand Krishna. Because Krishna said that even in the 10th chapter, when Arjuna is asking Krishna to reveal his opulence, Krishna is saying that it is very difficult for me to reveal my opulence. I'll just tell you only very few important things. It is not possible for me to reveal my own opulence. And Anantasesha, how many hoods he has?
हजारों,
Hazaro hoods. So how many mouth he will have with that?
thousands.
Hazaro mouth. And he has been glorifying the Lord since the time immemorial. And he's still glorifying. And he says that with 1,000 mouth and with 1,000 this thing, since the time immemorial, I cannot completely glorify Krishna. So Anantasesha himself said that it is very difficult for him to glorify Krishna with this 1,000 mouth and 1,000 thing. So how much we can glorify? And even the Rupa Goswami says that what can I chant with one tongue and 2 ears? I need to have millions of tongues and trillions of ears so I can hear the Mahamantra very nicely. But how is our chanting? We are trying to complete our rounds. है ना? जब 16 rounds हो गया तो what do? माला को हम एक तरफ रख लेते हैं. चलो अभी आज का कोटा खत्म हो गया. We have completed our quota. But how are the Goswamis of Vrindavan? उनका कैसा था? Haridas Thakur. How was he chanting?
192 rounds.
And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself said that now that you became very old, so you give up the chanting, you just chant little bit, you don't have to chant, you don't even have the energy. He did not accept. So till the time of his last breath, Haridas Thakur chanted 192 rounds. And who did his Antim Samskar?
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he did the Antim Sanskar in the
Ocean.
That is why if you're taking a bath in Jagannath Puri, the beach bath is also considered to be the holiest river.
True.
Like you're taking bath in Ganga or Yamuna, it is as holy or even more holy taking the bath in the beach of Jagannath Puri, because that is a place where Haridas Thakur's body was washed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that is a great place of pilgrimage for the devotees. So we should also try to observe the knowledge of Krishna. Everybody is getting the knowledge, but we should also try to implement the knowledge. When we are trying to implement the knowledge, we know that this is what we are supposed to do. We know that there are 6 processes of surrender. And what are the 6 processes of surrender? Anybody remembers that? Isha Mataji, do you remember that? Anukulyena Krishnanu Pratikulasya Varjanam. We should only accept the things that are favorable to Krishna consciousness. And we have to reject the things that are not favorable to Krishna consciousness. So bhakti is a very easy process. Everybody says that, I am the devotee. That's what Brahmaji in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavad Mahapuran, during the Brahma Vimohana Leela, I think most of you know that Leela. What did Brahma think seeing Krishna? He thought that such a village boy who's just having a morsel of food in his thing, how can he be such a... So what did he do? He took away all the friends. And Brahmaji, it is 1 year in the earthly lifetime. But for Brahmaji, how many minutes he was bewildered?
One
Only
second.
1 second he was bewildered. Not like us. For time memorial, we are bewildered. But Brahma was just bewildered for 1 second. Within that 1 second, what happened? 1 year has passed the earthly pastime. And when he came, what did he saw?
All the Gopsakhas are present.
All the Gopas and Gopis, they were all there. And Brahmaji immediately he pardoned. He asked, he told Krishna, please forgive me, he said. And he said that, some people say that I know you very well. I know Krishna very well. But me, out of my mind, out of my intelligence and out of my body, out of everything, I feel that I do not know you anything much. I know you very, very little.
Even in the 2nd canto, Mataji.
Yeah.
Narad Muni is trying to find out from the mouth of Lord Brahma. That he's saying, are you supreme? But he's saying...
Yeah, it is Krishna is the Supreme Lord. Yes. So 2nd canto. In the 10th canto, it is more elaborate because Brahma Vimochanila, because Brahmaji also got bewildered. So everybody can get bewildered. But the only way in which we can stay through devotional service is, what are the 5 processes that one should adapt? I have given long time back, which is given by Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu.
We should
5 process.
accept the favorable things for
No, that is the stage, that is the process of surrender. But what are the 5 main things that we should do in bhakti to advance in bhakti yoga? There are 64 process which is given in Rupa Goswami by in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. But there are 5 prime qualities one should have. 5 prime process. What are they? Chanting the holy names.
Chanting and hearing the holy names.
Reading Bhagavatam and following the Ekadashi, and then staying in the association of the devotee and Dhamvas. So these are the 5 qualities. By following even one of these 5 qualities properly, one of these 5 processes properly, one can advance in Krishna consciousness. Even just by hearing about Krishna, we can always hear more about Krishna while we are doing our work, while we are cleaning the house, we can always hear about Krishna. And we can always chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And Mathura Vas. So we cannot go to Mathura and Vrindavan every day, but at least once in a week or once in a month, we can try to go to the temple. So that is also a Mathura Vas. And deity worship. So we can all do the seva at our home. And the association of the devotees. We should stay in the association of the devotees, because even if one of us are falling down and losing the interest, just because of the power of the other devotees, we can get lifted up. So we can see every week when we are hearing to the classes of Bhagavad Gita, we are reading, we are chanting. Is it not helping us to re-energize ourselves?
It's helpful.
Does it help us to do more and more devotional service?
Yes.
Okay, Mataji. So this is all about us. Jnanam means the knowledge of matter and the spirit, and Vijnanam means
Spiritual knowledge.
spiritual knowledge or the realization, or the sweet pastimes of Krishna, knowing more about Krishna, the name of qualities of Krishna. That is Vijnanam. That is a superior knowledge. Jnanam is just the knowledge. Vijnanam is a superior knowledge, like the theory and the practicals. Theory, we are just knowing what we are supposed to do, but practical, we actually examine it. So this is the actual realization. So to the extent we are trying ourselves to observe this knowledge with the proper way, to that extent, Krishna will reveal the knowledge to ourselves.
So, Mataji,
yeah.
So, you mean to say that Gyan is theory and this Vijnanam is practical?
Vijnanam is practical. Yeah, or you can say Gyan is knowledge. Vijnana is the deeper knowledge.
But in another way, also theory and practical knowledge.
Yeah, because practical is also deeper knowledge, no? Theory, you're just understanding the phenomenon, but in practical, you're actually doing and seeing, right? You can actually see what happens in the experiment, no?
Correct.
So that is the deeper knowledge.
Okay.
Or in other words, for the devotee, it is a revelation. How much Krishna is revealing the knowledge to us. We are all getting the knowledge. How much are we practically applying it in our life? How much did the knowledge reveal ourselves to us? So for that process, we should surrender to Guru.
Guru and devotees.
And devotees. And we should hear from pure devotees. So, and then we have to follow the regulative principles. I think all of us here are following the regulative principles. So I did not talk about that. That is which everybody is following. But what we can do is we can increase our reading and we can increase our hearing and we can increase our seva, especially we as the housewives. We all have some friends, we all have some relatives, and we are not expected to go over and raise big programs. But at our home, like what we did in this Kartik month, we all did the Damodara Aarti at our home. We invited our friends, nearby neighbors. So we can all do that. We can all have some small programs at home, and we can try to involve as many people as possible in Krishna consciousness by distributing the literatures, by involving them in the program. We should try to broadcast the Krishna consciousness as much as possible, because that is one act which really pleases Guru and Krishna. Nachatasman manusheshu kashinyati kritama. So by our own ability, by doing so, then we will see that Krishna is reciprocating to us. Is the two slokas clear?
Yes, Mataji.
Any questions from this or any realizations or anything? So we can see that as soon as the 7th chapter started, till 6th chapter, it was more about spirit, matter, and other things. Here, can we not see that how nicely Krishna is revealing his heart? In the 7th chapter, are you not feeling Krishna is revealing himself to us?
Yes, Mataji.
And further, in the 9th chapter, what all Krishna reveals? Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati tataham bhakti uparitam ashnami prayatatmanah. What he wants, that also is revealing. Yat karoshi, yat dashnashi, yat juhoshi, tadati yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurusva madarpanam. He is also saying, whatever you do, do it as an offering. And another beautiful sloka, which we all know, Ananya Chintayanto Ma, Krishna says that I will protect what you have and I will carry what you lack. I will preserve what you have and I will carry what you lack. We all know the famous story of Arjunacharya, how Krishna demonstrated that yoga kshemam vayamyaham, right? And also in the 9th chapter, Krishna also says that no apite juracharo, even by some reason, accidentally, if we are falling down from devotional service, Bhakti say if we are falling down, not wantingly, unknowingly or unincidentally, like in the road, sometimes when we go, accident happen unintentionally or something. If we fall down in devotion, what did Krishna say? Shipram bhavati dharmatma. He will immediately come back to me because his goal is towards me. Kaunteya pratijanahi name bhakta pranashyati. He says that my devotee never perishes. And he demonstrated that.
Like on this Radhashtami, one of the devotees passed away in this road accident. He was coming to Jew temple often. So, for example, I can relate to that devotee. So he died on such an auspicious day.
Correct. Yeah. So we can see that Krishna always gives protection. So the more we go deeper and deeper in the 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 chapters, we will see that Krishna is revealing his heart to us. So only thing is we have to approach the Bhagavad Gita with that heart, with that revelation that Krishna is talking to me. I'm going to sit and I'm going to hear what Krishna is talking to me with devotion. Then you will see that there is a greater revelation of knowledge to us. Okay, Mataji, when we approach him with that devotion, when we approach him with that bhakti, when we are just approaching Bhagavad Gita, yes, I just want to know Bhagavad Gita. I just want to know Bhagavad Gita because I want to gain the knowledge. Then Krishna also will help you to understand only that knowledge. He may not reveal his heart to us. So when we are approaching Krishna through Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, we have to know Krishna is a person and he is talking to us through Bhagavad Gita. And Bhagavatam is Krishna himself. So it's all about the biography of Krishna. So when we sit and read, we should sit with that particular thing that we are directly associating with Krishna. And by chanting, what did Krishna say? When our chanting is pure, what happens? Radha and Krishna dance in our tongue become a rasastali. So Krishna is fully present in his name. So every process that we do in Bhakti Yoga, we can see that the Lord is fully present. Yes, he is present in Goloka, but also he is present everywhere. That is Krishna, because he is the Supreme Lord. He can do anything.
Yes.
Right? Like the sun. Sun is very far from us, but can we still not get the sunshine?
We get.
So similarly, Krishna, even though he is located in Goloka Vrindavan, but he is also present everywhere and he is personally present with his devotees. So that is what, the more we want to know how Krishna exchanges his relation with devotee, then we have to read Srimad Bhagavatam, where we understand the relation which Krishna has with his devotees. Okay, Mataji, any questions? Was everything okay today?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, can we stop the class?
Okay, Mataji.
Okay. We'll do the Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Hare Krishna
as
it is Ki Jai Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Swati, you have any question? I see your hand. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Vrasaki Mataji,
Yes, Isha Mataji,
I was about to ask you.
you have any question?
Yeah, I was about to ask you, but I just forgot.
Just by calling out the name, you forgot.
Yeah. I'll give you a call.
Okay, whenever you remember, you can ask me this question. But I hope these two slokas were quite clear.
Yeah,
what
quite
Krishna is trying to explain through these two
quite clear.
slokas.
And in previous class, I slept also, but
Okay.
now I was
Now
awake, so I could understand the first sloka as well.
Okay. Yeah, that is why I didn't go as deep as I went in the last class on the first sloka, because I thought I'll take one more sloka. But I thought second sloka is also very important because it talks about two types of knowledge, Gyan and Vigyan. So how much we can reveal the knowledge, reveal to us, that is also very important.
Yes.